So let's talk regulations in the UAE. UAE just wrote the entire crypto rulebook. And across the region, regulators are moving fast on digital assets. So on that subject, we have here with us, joining us is Zain Umer, who's the CEO of CFC Mena and Co-Chair of the MFTA Policy and Regulations Working Group. Thank you and welcome to our studio. Zain, let's start from the beginning. You helped build VARA from the ground up. So what are the biggest changes when it comes now to regulations in the UAE?
Thank you so much for having me. I think the UAE has undergone significant change over the last year or so from a regulatory perspective. The CMA, formerly known as SCA, of course, has introduced a new federal framework for crypto assets, 8 activities across 3 rule books. It's very exciting, and I think shepherds in a new era for regulation across the UAE. We've seen VARA last year published Rulebook 2.0 and already updating its rulebook. We've seen the central bank's payment token service regulations come into effect. So across the board, in places like stablecoins and tokenization, huge developments and advancements in the UAE.
Speaking of stablecoins, now under the new stablecoin rules, algorithms and algorithmic and privacy-focused tokens are banned for payments here. Why?
I think it's a great idea. We've seen the massive collapse of Terra Luna a few years ago, which highlighted the dangers of algorithmic stablecoins. Privacy tokens have always been prohibited under the UAE's initial framework, especially under VARA, because of the kind of difficulty in being able to track trace origins of funds. This also aligns with the FATF guidance and framework, which is best practice for global regulators. So this is something we're fans of, and I think it's another sign of the robustness of the UAE's federal regulatory framework.
Yeah. Okay, so the UAE now has a unified register between SCA and VARA as well. What does that actually mean for a crypto company operating here?
I think it gives more choice. It means if you're in Sharjah, Fujairah, or Abu Dhabi, you naturally fall under the CMA, formerly known as SCA. If you're in Dubai, you're under VARA. So there's a geographical distinction. The unified register also means if I get a VARA license, I am automatically also registered with the CMA, and I have a CMA registration number. And if I'm a firm who gets the license from CMA, I'm automatically also registered with VARA. So a joint unified framework for the UAE as a whole is very positive, and it shows the regulators are working together and collaborating well, and it's a unified direction the country is taking.
Yeah. So VARA fully rolled out the travel rule this year. How does that affect everyday crypto users?
I think that the travel rule implementation has taken a little while perhaps to get going. It's been part of the original framework from VARA from the beginning. Effectively, it means any transaction daily users are doing which exceeds 3,500 dirham, they have to provide information on the beneficiary who they're sending funds to. It's very similar to how me and you may make a bank transfer, where we always have to put in the name of our recipient and the IBAN address. It's the equivalent of that in crypto asset. I mean, I'm not just sending balances to a wallet, which is a collection of random numbers and letters, but a name is attached to it, an ID is attached to it. So again, I think it makes the UAE framework more robust. I think it strengthens the UAE's approach, and it ensures closer alignment to the FATF guidelines, which ultimately it's critical for this stage of the UAE's journey.
Very, very exciting, of course. And let's talk about your firm. Your firm helped Kraken get approved under VARA. What does that process actually look like?
We're fortunate enough to have done just over 40 licenses over the last year or so. This covers across VARA, across the CMA, across the FSRA, and across the UAE Central Bank. Tier 1 firms like Kraken, Bitpanda, the process is very intensive. These are global players who are choosing the UAE as their new home. So we feel it's our kind of role and responsibility to help ease that process through. What does it kind of look like behind the scenes? This very, very close collaboration between ourselves and between these virtual asset firms who are moving here. We help build the compliance framework and infrastructure, the policy and procedures. And it's a process which is very well supported by the regulators themselves, because without the likes of VARA playing such a forthright and cooperative role, this process is something that's just not feasible or possible. So we play, I think, an important role in that we go out and bring some of the world's leading firms to the UAE. We help them launch in the market. We work extensively with them on compliance infrastructure and design, policy and procedural frameworks. But all this to say, the firms themselves have a big role to play, the biggest role, because they have to be willing to align with the UAE's frameworks. And then the regulator is the third part of that equation, who have been extremely supportive and helpful throughout the process.
So when we look at the regulations here in the UAE, do you describe them as business friendly, since you help a lot of companies, firms open here too?
I think I wouldn't go that far because the UAE often gets a reputation that it's a great place to do business, but it's less robust maybe than a European counterpart or the US. I think crypto is where the UAE has become the global hub, and I'm very proud to be able to say that. But I think the more impressive thing about that is they became a hub not by lowering the standards or the thresholds. They actually set some of the toughest standards in the world, but they created other factors which enabled such growth. So banking for crypto asset firms in the UAE is amongst the best in the world. The ability to engage with the regulators. So the regulations themselves aren't simple or easy, but the regulators are willing to engage with firms to help them understand expectations and to navigate it. And then the rest of the financial infrastructure, the financing options, all the other great things we love about the UAE, I think they play a role in that. So I would say it's pro-business. Safety, of course. So definitely the regulations are pro-business, not necessarily business friendly. But I think the evidence in all these firms choosing UAE as global headquarters or one of their big global offices is relevant. That balance from the UAE of robustness, but still being open for business, has been met perfectly.
Let's move over to Saudi Arabia. It's different now. Crypto trading still effectively banned, yet we also talked in the show about tokenization in real estate. To be specific, how do we explain this contrast?
I think it's less a contrast. Really, it comes down to how you look at the crypto sector as a whole. I think Saudi Arabia have been very open with the fact that cryptocurrency trading is still prohibited, i.e. your ability to go out and buy Bitcoin or to trade derivatives or future positions in crypto assets. Digital assets is a subterm which is a little bit different than cryptocurrencies. This includes tokenized representation of physical assets like real estate, like financial instruments. So I think it's less a contrast. It's more that Saudi Arabia have, within the wider world of digital assets, decided they're not going to focus on cryptocurrencies as a whole. They're going to focus on tokenized real world assets. They've created a pilot study for this, and we've been very excited to see our neighbors making such good progress in tokenizing real estate. And it's an initiative, I think, that has a lot of potential for the future. And I think Saudi are in a good pathway to be able to enable and benefit from blockchain technology as a whole.
Yeah, we're seeing a big progress when it comes to tokenization now from Saudi Arabia. So now, in this region, what's the next big regulatory shift that you're seeing coming here and that people aren't paying attention to yet?
Great question. I think what we saw in the first instance was retail adoption. In UAE, we've seen a lot of platforms which are user-friendly, retail-friendly, the likes of BitOasis and CoinMina in early days, and then Fuse, Facet, the homegrown platforms, as well as, of course, the global Binance OKX, which has been great to see. I think what we're now seeing is more and more institutional adoption in the UAE. We've seen also closer alignment between the payment infrastructure of the UAE and the virtual asset sector. You can now pay government fees and fines using crypto. You can book a taxi and book a flight using crypto. So that closer amalgamation almost of our everyday lives and crypto is continuing, and regulators have been a huge part of enabling that. You can now on the blockchain buy an apartment in Dubai with Burj Khalifa views, and it takes 5 minutes rather than 4 months of trying to buy actual real estate, which is positive. So I think we'll see a continuation of adoption. We will see more and more institutions getting involved, and that traditional financial sector and financial instruments being tokenized, I think, is the next wave. And a very exciting position, and I think we look forward to seeing it develop across the course of this year.
So if you put a time frame, let's say, when are we going to be able to use crypto and finance in everyday life, let's say, and paying rent and paying diwa here and paying everything, groceries?
Q1 next year. We're going to put time. I think as early as next year. I think already at the moment, you can do a large part of that. There are prepaid crypto cards you can have in the UAE right now, where you never need to load money on there. It's already linked to your crypto wallet. I can go outside and buy a coffee right now using that card and walk away with it and having paid in crypto. Technically, I could set up to pay my bills in crypto, but I prefer to hold my crypto and use my fiat for the time being still. I think we're closer than we think. I think that adoption, the rails are already built. And the next layer is just going to be more and more user adoption as it increases. So I think by next year, very early at the start of next year, we should have the option and the ability to spend in most things using crypto. We will anyone right now who's a user of VO Bank, Rack Bank, or ENBD through Live already has the ability to just buy and sell crypto assets directly through their bank account, which is fantastic. We'll have soon the ability to invest in crypto assets through our bank accounts. The adoption, I think, has happened for a large part, and it's only just going to continue and increase from here.